Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is Sunshine Lorena and I'm going to be giving you some Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So I'm going to be telling you about some Kindle Unlimited books that I recommend for thrillers and horror in this video. As you may have seen that I recently got a new Kindle and I have got Kindle Unlimited again, which reminded me that I have read quite a bit of books on Kindle Unlimited previously because I had the subscription, and also some other books that I've read out with the Kindle Unlimited that are on there now. So I thought, why not make a video and do some recommendations of the ones I've already read. So like I said, thriller and horror is going to be in this one. I'll go through the thrillers first, and I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just going to get into it. If you do want to see an unboxing of my new Kindle and pros and cons, I will link and you should go and check that out. But yes, let me just get into it. So the first book that I have on my list here is Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose. And I read this probably about a year or so ago and absolutely loved it, guys. It's so good. It's a thriller. It's the first in a series. Only the first book is on Kindle Unlimited. I still need to read the other two, second and third ones. And I do believe they're on Scribd, which I do need to get to them soon, because honestly, this was so good and so fun. And I always leave a link in my bio you can use to get 2 months free Scribd, and I get like a month free if I remember correctly. If you don't already have Scribd, you can check out that link because I do recommend. But anyway, this one, I'm gonna actually read the synopsis of here because I feel like it covers everything, and it just kind of gives you an insight of the funniness that you get in this book as well, because despite it being about a serial killer, it is actually quite funny at the same time. So, the last person who called me Sweet Pea ended up dead. I haven't killed anyone for 3 years, and I thought that when it happened again, I'd feel bad. Like an alcoholic taking a sip of whiskey, but no, nothing. I had a blissful night's sleep, didn't wake up at all, and for once, no bad dreams either. This morning, I feel balanced, almost sane for once. Rhiannon is your average girl next door, settled with a boyfriend and little dog, but she's got a killer secret. Although her childhood was haunted by a famous crime, Rhiannon's life is normal now and her celebrity has dwindled. By day, her job as an editorial assistant is demeaning and unsatisfying. By evening, she dutifully listens to her friends' plans for marriage and babies while secretly making a list. A kill list. From the man on the Lidl checkout who always mishandles her apples to the driver who cuts her off on the way to work. To the people who have got it coming, Rhiannon's ready to get her revenge because the girl everyone overlooks might be able to get away with murder. So yes, like I said, absolutely love this, recommend it. It is a thriller, but it is hilarious and funny at the same time, and you're gonna enjoy it. And like I said, I really need to get on and read the rest of the series because it is just so good. The next one on this list is The Lodger. Again, it's a thriller. This is a psychological thriller this time. No hilarious moments in this one. And again, I read this a little bit over a year ago and I really enjoyed it. It's a good page turner. So Lee Simon can't say for sure what made her do it. A moment of madness, perhaps. But when the young, loud and gorgeous waitress at her favourite coffee shop reveals she's homeless, Lee offers her an empty room in her house. Gina's the perfect lodger. Lee, lonely and frustrated with her life, becomes infatuated with the woman, her boldness, her zeal. If only Lee could be more like Gina. So when Lee returns from a work trip, she's shocked to find Gina missing. Where could the young woman have gone and why? Lee fears that something terrible has happened. Why else would Gina leave her? But as she sets out to find her missing lodger, what Lee discovers changes everything she knows about Gina and her own life too. This one will have you turning those pages really quickly. You'll fly through it. I really enjoyed it, and it's a bit twisty and turny, which is perfect for a thriller. The next one I have here is The Butterfly Garden by Dutch Hutchinson. This is book 1 in the collector's book series. There are 4 and they actually all are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you like the first one you can continue the series, which I am planning on doing to get to the second one. I read this, again it was last year at some point, I can't remember exactly when, but it was last year at some point, and I read it part of Chloe Reads Books, Chloe Crime Scene Corner's book club, so I got to discuss it with people, which was really good. This one is creepy. You're gonna have those creepy moments and you are gonna really be wondering what's going on. It's a very different thriller from other ones that I've read and you'll get that once I explain the synopsis to you, but I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the fact that it was a little bit different from the other ones, and I'm really intrigued to see where the series goes. and how it's going to kind of continue. So near an isolated mansion lies a beautiful garden. In this garden glow luscious flowers, shady trees and a collection of precious butterflies. Young women who've been kidnapped and intricately tattooed to resemble their namesakes. Overseeing it all is the gardener, a brutal twisted man obsessed with capturing and preserving his lovely specimens. When the garden is discovered, a survivor is brought in for questioning. FBI agents Victor Hanarin and Brandon Edison are tasked with the piecing together of the most stomach-churning cases of their careers. But the girl known as Maya proves to be a puzzle herself. As her story twists and turns, slowly shedding light on life in the butterfly garden, Maya reveals old grudges, new savours and horrific tales of a man who'd go to any length to hold his beauty captive. But the more she shares, the more the agents have to wonder, what is she still hiding? I really enjoyed this one. You got the story through Maya's eyes, like going back in the past as she's telling the detectives in the present of what went on, and you really do question bits and pieces, and I don't want to see too much else to it, but yes, like I said, it is actually really quite creepy. As you can tell from that synopsis, it probably will be. The next one on my list is No Exit by Taylor Adams, and this is hugely popular and for good reason. It is so good. This is perfect to read in the colder months because it does take place during a snowstorm. So I read it in January when I read this one, and honestly it was just perfect. I felt the cold, it was just the perfect season. So recommend reading in the colder months because of that snowstorm, and it is so good, so twisty, high adrenaline. If you've not read this, please just go now, go get it, read it. It has now been adapted into a film, which I have not yet watched. I will one day, but I always, I have this fear that I love this book so much, I give it 5 stars when I read it, that I'm gonna watch it and it's just not gonna be as good. But I will watch it one day, but I need to hype myself up. I need to build up that hype to get into it. So this one follows Darcy, who is a college student, and she is on her way home for Christmas, I want to say. I think it was Christmas, for the holidays. And she ends up getting caught in a snowstorm, meaning she has to pull into a rest stop and wait out the storm. There are other people there as well, so she is not on her own waiting in this rest stop area. She does then accidentally stumble across a little girl that's locked up on one of the cars there, and who has clearly been kidnapped. The rescuers team, the road's being cleared, they're basically gonna have to be there the whole night. So she knows that one of these people that she is stuck with in this rest stop is a kidnapper, and who knows what else they have done. So obviously they're not good people. So she has to handle the situation very carefully. There is no signal, so she can't use her phone to call anyone, and I don't think there is like a phone booth or anything. So they are very much stranded until somebody clears this road. This is full of so many twists and turns. You're just not gonna see it coming. I absolutely love Darby as a character. She, honestly, in that situation, I would love to act the way that she did. She is just the perfect character. Loved it. Like I said, so many twists and turns. You don't know what's gonna happen in this one. But yeah, essentially she's left there knowing that one of the travelers will kidnap her and trying to work out what to do, because she needs to make sure obviously that they don't get away, otherwise this little girl is probably gonna be lost forever. So it is such a good book. Like I said, for me, when I read it, 5 stars, amazing. I recommend you check it out. The next one on my list here is The House Guest by Mark Edwards. I read this several years ago, not on Kindle Unlimited. I bought it like on a 99p Kindle deal on like a whim, and so glad I did. Again, this is another 5-star thriller for me. And the great thing with Mark Edwards books that I find is that obviously thrillers, they have twists. This is a psychological one, which I don't think I mentioned before. They have twists, but with his twist, the big one always really shocks you. I mean, like, you never guess and see it coming, and especially this one. Like, I don't think anyone can guess the major twist in this because it's just so not what you expect. So this one, a perfect summer, a perfect stranger, a perfect nightmare. So there is a British couple. They are like in their 20s, and they're offered the chance to spend the summer in New York house sitting, which obviously they can't say no to. I mean, would you? They're young, they're in love, and on the cusp of professional success, they feel as if luck is finally on their side. So the moment that Eden turns up on the doorstep, drenched from a summer storm, it seems only right to share a bit of good fortune. Beautiful and charismatic, Eden claims to be a friend of the Homers, who told her she could stay there whenever she's in New York. They know you're not supposed to talk to strangers, let alone invite them into your home, but after all, Eden's only a stranger until they get to know her. As suspicions creep in that Eden may not be who she claims to be, they begin to wonder if they've made a terrible mistake. That synopsis really doesn't give away much, but like I said, let me tell you, there are so many twists and turns turns and the major big twist, you're not going to guess it. So recommend, run, go, read this one and check out some other Mark Edwards books. I feel like I never really see people speaking about his thrillers. They're really popular on Amazon. They have like thousands and thousands of reviews, so obviously it's ones that people pick up, but I just feel like Book Talk, Booktube, Bookstagram don't really speak about him, so I recommend you go and check it out. The next one on this list, again another thriller, is What Lies Between Us by John Mars. He's a well-known thriller writer. This is not one of his like Black Mirror-esque thrillers. If you're familiar with his work or heard anything about him, you'll know that there are some that like have very Black Mirror vibes. This is not one of them, but it's still really good. So Nina can never forgive Maggie for what she did, and she can never let her leave. They say every house has its secrets, and the house that Maggie and Nina have shared for so long is no different. Except that these secrets are not buried in the past. Every other night, Maggie and Nina have dinner together. When they're finished, Nina helps Maggie back to her room in the attic and into the heavy chain that keeps her there, because Maggie has done things to Nina that can never be forgiven, and now she's paying the price. But there are many things about the past that Nina doesn't know, and Maggie's going to keep it that way, even if it kills her. Because in this house, the truth is more dangerous than lies. Obviously, with that premise, you're just like, wait, what? She's obviously keeping somebody up in the attic prisoner for what? For some reason that she's done something bad, and not went to the police. Because if you think if somebody's done something wrong, you go to the police, they investigate, and they should be in jail. But in this case, she's keeping her in the house, and you're gonna have to read the book obviously to find out why, what's going on, and what those secrets are. But this is very interesting. There's lots of twists and turns that go on in this one. You're gonna be flicking through those pages really quickly. This is definitely tense. There's some darkness in there. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. You do get some really good character development in this one as well. But yes, recommend, pick it up. You are not gonna see some of these twists coming. Those are all the thrillers in Kindle Unlimited that I'm recommending. And then now we're gonna go into the horror books. The first one on this list is The Shuttering by Anya Alburn. She has a whole bunch of books on Kindle Unlimited. This is the only one that I've read so far by her, but I really did enjoy it. Again, this is one that you're going to want to read in winter because it involves snow, great atmosphere, and yes, so get this on your list and be prepared to read this in winter because it's going to creep you out and you're just going to enjoy that cold atmosphere as well. So in this one, Ryan Adler and his twin sister Jane spent their happiest childhood days at their parents' mountain Colorado cabin until divorce tore their family apart. Now with the house about to be sold, the older twins gather their closest friends for one last snowboarding filled holiday. While commitment-phobic Ryan gazes longingly at Lauren, wondering if his playboy days are over, Jane's hopes of reconciling with her old boyfriend evaporate when he brings along his new fiancée. As drama builds among the friends, something lurks in the forest watching the cabin, growing ever bolder as the snow falls and hunger rises. After a blizzard leaves the group stranded, true test of their love and loyalty begins as the hideous creatures outside close in, one bloody attack at a time. Now Ryan, Jane and their friends must fight tooth and nail, bullet and blade for their lives, or else surrender to unspeakable deaths in the darkened woods. This one is creepy, as you can imagine. It is like a monster type horror book is the best way to describe it. And what I love about this, obviously you have like those horror elements of these attacks of them trying to like fight and survive. It is an isolated setting, which I absolutely love. I love like being trapped and seeing what's going to happen in those situations. You also obviously get the dynamic of the friendship group, their relationships and character building as well as they're going through this really very awful situation. So it's really good. I recommend you check it out. And like I said, there are other books of hers on Kindle Unlimited which I will be checking out. I just haven't gone to them yet, but once I do I will let you know what I think of them. The next one on this list is Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess. Now this is number 4 in the Ride or Die series. I haven't read any of the other books in the series, but it's not a series that you have to read other ones because they're all individual stories. And I just had a look and there's actually 36 in total in this series. I need to read through the synopsis and see which ones I want to pick up next, but this one is really good. But yes, all of them are actually on Kindle Unlimited, so you have like a whole series if you do like horror to go and check out. I don't think I mentioned this, but they are all by different authors as well. If you like kind of horror books that involve teenagers, again, a bit of an isolated setting, this is the one for you. The summer of 1989 brought terror into the town of Shadows Creek, Florida, in the form of a massacre at the local carnival, Cirque Berserk. One fateful night, a group of teens killed a dozen people, then disappeared into thin air. No one knows why they did it, where they went, or even how many of them were. But legend has it, they still roam the abandoned carnival looking for blood to spill. 30 years later, best friends Sam and Rochelle are in the midst of a boring senior trip when they learn about the infamous Cirque Berserk. Seeking one last adventure, they and their friends journey to the nearby Shadows Creek to see if the urban legends about Cirque Berserk are true. But waiting for them beyond the carnival gates is a night of brutality, bloodshed and betrayal. Will they make it out alive, or will the carnival's past demons extinguish their futures? This is really good. It's really good. There's twisty, turning, everything you expect of like a horror book that involves teenagers. This would really be really good adapted into film. It just ticks off all those classic kind of horror tropes, slasher books if you like them. But yes, definitely recommend checking this one out. Next one on this list is Dear Laura by Gemma Amor, and this is a horror novella, so it's really quick. It's about 120 pages, so it is one that you can get through really quickly. I read it quite a few years ago, really enjoyed it when I read it. So every year on her birthday, Laura gets a letter from a stranger. The stranger claims to know the whereabouts of her missing friend Bobby, but there's a catch. He'll only tell her what he knows in exchange for something personal. So begins Laura's sordid relationship with her new pen pal, built on a foundation of quid pro quo. Her quest for closure will push her to bizarre acts of humiliation and harm, yet no matter how hard she tries, she cannot escape her correspondent's demands. The letters keep coming as time passes. They have a profound effect on Laura. So there's nothing else much I can say to you on this one, since it is obviously a novella, so it is quite short, but it's really interesting, this one, a little bit different from other horror books that you read. And like I said, it's one that goes on for years. Obviously these letters come every year, so it's something that's been going on for years. Find out kind of what's going on and what these demands are as well. Recommend. The next one on this list is Taste Like Candy by Ivy Thielen, and this is another slasher horror book that involves teenagers, so if that is your favourite kind of subgenre, you're going to enjoy this one. Everyone at Pritchett High wants an invitation to the senior scavenge. In 2020, Violet Warren and her friends are the lucky ones. 8 girls will break into the Poison Apple Carnival after hours for a scavenger hunt. Then at sunrise, they'll gather for a celebration in honour of their upcoming senior year. But someone else has another game planned. Minutes after the girls sneak into the carnival, a madman in a rubber mask begins slashing his way through the group, and Violet quickly realises his motives are personal. As she watches her friends die in a series of increasingly bizarre attacks, she must fight to survive while trying to answer the question, what could she have done to earn a fast pass for a roller coaster ride straight to hell? Again, this is one that would make a really good adaptation. Like I said, if you like books that involve slasher elements and teenagers, you're going to enjoy this one. Trying to work out why it's even happening. Clearly there is something else going on and somebody has a personal vendetta against each of these girls. You'll need to read it and find out, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really quick read. You will be turning those pages and you should hopefully enjoy it. Now this next one, you're going to want to save it until the lead up to Christmas, because it is actually a Christmas horror novella. Normally there isn't that many I find Christmas themed ones, so yeah, like I said, save this one for December and pick it up, and that is The Visitor by Sergio Gomez, who is well known for things like Camp Slaughter, which is on Kindle Unlimited. I haven't read it yet, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I think there's another few books by him on there as well. And this one, you're not gonna really work out what this one, it was really interesting, really enjoyed it, really quick, and like I said, it's a little bit something different because you don't find that many Christmas themed horror books. On Christmas, during one of the worst snowstorms Indiana has ever seen, 5 strangers are forced to take shelter inside of a roadside diner. As the night progresses, the snowfall shows no sign of relenting, ice begins to build up on the roads, and the temperature seems to be dropping by the hour. But the worst has nothing to do with the weather and everything to do with the 6th visitor coming to the diner. The jolliest time of the year quickly turns bloody as the diners find themselves fighting for their lives. This Christmas won't just be white, it'll be red too. I enjoyed this when I read it. Again, you kind of got this bit of an isolated setting, which most of these horror books seem to have, like a bit of an isolated setting, but it works really well, and there's gonna be a bit of a twist here that you won't see coming, and I really, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's really quick as well, and yeah, recommend it for the lead up to Christmas. Now the last one on here is actually a horror graphic novella, and this was like my first kind of venture into graphic novels involving horror. I didn't even know it was a thing. I just picked it up on a whim when I had Kindle Unlimited and I saw it. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, this might be it for you. So there is volumes 1 and 2, and it's called Hotel, and it's by John Lees, who's the author. Plus there's obviously other illustrations. There's other people involved to do with the illustrations. So we have Dalbor Talgic, sorry for pronouncing that wrong, Care Andrews, who did, and Karen Grant, and Lee Lawridge. So they're all involved in the art aspects of this. So you won't find this hotel on a map, but if you happen to be driving down Route 66 late at night and you're truly desperate for shelter, sanctuary or secrecy, you might see a banner sign on the side of the road, the Perriott Courts Hotel, where many check in but few check out. That's all you're going to get from the synopsis. It is divided up, if I remember correctly, into a few different stories, and they kind of interlink. You'll just need to read through it and see how it goes. But these are it's really quick read with it being a graphic novel. And like I said, I'd never read a horror graphic novel, and I quite enjoyed this whenever I read it. And you have volumes 1 and 2. Okay, so there's volumes 1 and 2 in this, both on Kindle Unlimited. Recommend, like I said, for something that's a little bit different. And that's it for all of the thriller and horror book recommendations that I have on Kindle Limited. There will be more coming your way as I read more, but these are it for the moment. Let me know if you've read any of these. Did you enjoy them as well? And if you have any recommendations for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye! Hello, welcome back or welcome... Why can I never say my intro properly?